Hello, I am back. Sorry about that. I actually think that what I had to do was uninstall the game and then reinstall it. So it shouldn't take very long, even though I am on my hotspot. It should be a pretty fast load. It said it would take about 3 minutes, so not too long. In the meantime, we'll kind of talk really quickly about some of the interesting things about the game. One of the things that I mentioned earlier was that it does use deck building mechanics. So you start with kind of a basic deck, and you are basically going through a dungeon. In this case, it's actually a spire, and your goal is to get to the center of it, the heart of it, and destroy it. And of course, like I said, it's procedurally generated. So every time you go, you're going to be facing different bosses, um, different kinds of enemies, different kinds of options as far as what you have, different obstacles, and all the while you're building your deck up so that every time you play, you've got new card options, and of course, there's all kinds of mechanics that go along with that. It is a really cool. It's really as you'll be able to see when I actually start the game, it is a lot of fun and very easy to learn. And then you keep thinking, well, this is it. This is kind of interesting, but I don't know why this is so addictive. And then you'll kind of see some more elements added and more elements added. And then as you go through the game, you're trying to figure out um, just how many customizable things there are when it comes to building your deck as you're going through the game. There's a lot of choices to be made, a lot of kind of um, ideas. And the best thing about deck builder games is whether it's a physical card game or in this case a digital game, there are all of those fun things about deck building, like thinking about probability, what's going to happen, how effective will this card be in the deck that I have, how is this card going to change the deck that I have. All of those really cool things about deck building will show up in these games as well as you're playing. And the cool thing is you get to kind of do it on the fly. Um, Hello, Moriarty. Moratri. Hopefully, I'll get the stream up going again. I appreciate staying around, sticking around. I'm going to be. All right, finally getting back to it. I'm not going to change the settings again. I should have been smart and thought, oh, if I do that, it'll mess up the stream options, which are very particular. Oh, and it looks like I'm going to have the same problem. Really big. So the problem is that I can't change the settings now. I can activate the change in frame rate, but I can't use my arrow keys, unfortunately, to change anything. Mm-mm. Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, I'm running into some problems with getting a reset. I think what happened is that there is a... This is where we'll see if I can get my gaming skills, put them to the test. There should be some kind of save file somewhere. So I'm going to try to jump into my PC really quickly and see if I can find it. into Steam. Steam apps, common. I know where most of this stuff is, so I just have to find my my config file. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, so here we go. It's letting me set it into troubleshooting mode. Okay, so let's see if that works. Because I was able to put it in troubleshooting mode, I could then select... Oh, the volume is really low? Okay, let me try to... All right. Well, this is really interesting because I reset the resolution and now... Whew. This is a tough one. I'm hoping it will be... Okay. I'm going to wait momentarily and see what it looks like for all of you. So now I just have to go into my OBS and resize it, and hopefully it will look okay. There we go. Okay, so I think that might be as amazing as it's going to be this first time. So like I said, I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be playing in normal mode as though I have never played this game before. My options are to play standard, which I can embark on a quest. It's sort of like the single-player game. And then there's, of course, a daily challenge I can do. That's available once a day to me. I am going to go ahead and play just on the standard mode because that's also, I believe, the way that it teaches you the game. Let me go back and make sure. Settings. Okay. I'm pretty sure it does start with just a tutorial at the basic standard mode. Make a quick adjustment here. So you can see a little bit better. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to choose my character. There is only one that's unlocked at the beginning of the game, the Ironclad. I have 80 hit points, 99 gold. The remaining soldier of the Ironclad sold his soul to harness demonic energies. He has burning blood, so at the end of the combat, in any combat, he can heal 6 hit points. He has 5 unlocks remaining, and 0 to 300 to the next unlock. And I believe this is what you get by continuing to play the game. You eventually unlock more things. Yeah. So I'm ready to embark. Greetings, I am Niao. So I can talk to him. At least confront the first boss. Enemies in your next three combats have 1 hit point. Or my max hit point is +8. So I guess this must be a decision I make. I'm trying to make sure that the game window is something that you can see everything in. It's kind of off-centered a little bit. So I'm trying to resize it so you can see the entire user interface. See how that goes. Okay. All right, just wanted to make sure you could see everything. So I'll say I'll increase my max HP. And he said granted. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to have a map, and you can basically choose your entry point. And then based on your entry point, that's going to determine the kinds of monsters, traps, various things that can happen to you, because you'll follow paths. You'll have decision points where you can go one way or another, and then the idea is to get to the end, the heart of the Spire, without dying. So I'm going to choose my path. I feel like there's a lot more options on the left path. So we'll choose kind of the middle. Okay, so let's see. I just wanted to see if I was kind of missing a tutorial, because I feel as though I'm kind of missing a tutorial mode here. But maybe not. Okay. So I have this is my hit points on my display. These are the hit points of the enemies. Enemies have abilities that if you hover over them, it says what they mean. These are aggressive. In other words, they intend to attack for 5 damage. This enemy intends to attack for 6 damage. It also has a curl up ability, so if it's attacked, it rolls up and gains 5 block, which means it's probably not a good idea to attack it twice. but this enemy is going to do more damage, so it might be better to kill him, or try to kill him. I have 3 energy, which means that's how much I can play, that's how much I have to spend to play cards. I also have a draw pile. At the start of my turn, I get to draw 5 cards, which I already did. I have 5 cards left in my deck, and I can also click to view my cards that are left in my deck at any time. So you can always take a look at your deck and what you have to start off with, but it is shuffled. So that means that what you see is not necessarily the order that you're going to get it. Okay, good. Thanks, Kuro. So I can always end my turn when I'm done, and then of course I have my discard pile I can look at, and it will then, when it's empty, this is the whole deck builder part of the game. When it's empty, it will then be turned around and reshuffled back into my draw pile. So my cards, my 5 cards, I can strike for 6 damage. That'll cost me 1 energy. I have 2 of those. I can defend, which gives me 5 block. And I believe what that'll do is that will block the damage they intend to do. So right now I'm taking 11 damage from them, I think, on my turn. But I could block 5 of it with 1 energy. I think I can play a second block and gain up to 10, which would really negate everything but 1 hit. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to play a little defensively. So you pull the card up to play it. Now it shows the block amount next to my hit points. I'm going to go ahead and play another one. So now my block is up to 10, and I now have 1 more energy, so I'm going to go ahead and play one of my strikes. And I have to decide who it's going to go toward. It can either go toward the louse that does less damage or that does more damage. I think I'm going to go towards the one that does more damage because it's also got less hit points. So it is now in curl up mode. So it's not going to be a good idea to attack it. It's got 5 block. As you can see, it has its own block now. And so my turn, my energy's out, so I can go ahead and end the turn. Oh, okay. Thank you, Moriarty. That really helps a lot. Yeah, I kind of thought maybe there was a... I'll have to make sure that my stream is set at the right. Like I said, this is temporary. I'm on temporary laptop mode, and it wasn't something I usually run into on my PC, so I'll keep that in mind if I'm going to do another stream on my laptop to make sure those match before I get started. But I really appreciate it. Definitely helpful. Okay, so it looks like a new ability this enemy has is that he's turned into a strategic creature, which means this enemy intends to inflict a negative effect on me. And he's still got the curl up. So this guy is no longer curled up, but he's now aggressive, so he's going to attack me for another 6 damage if he gets a chance to. So I don't really have anything to block this negative effect. It looks like, let's see, if I play this bash card, it takes 2 of my energy, but if a creature is vulnerable, they take 50% more damage from attacks. Oh, okay, so this would give this enemy vulnerable. 2 vulnerable, which I'm thinking that means 2 rounds of vulnerability. And so that means that future damage, they take extra attack damage. And it's going to deal 8, which would be just enough to kill this guy. However, why make him vulnerable if I'm just going to kill him outright? So it seems like kind of a waste. Maybe I'll play it on this other guy. This is tough because I also want to try to block the damage again. And I do have the defend cards to do that. So I'm going to do that. I'm still going to take my same tactic. It looks like this enemy isn't going to attack. It's going, instead of doing damage, it's going to inflict the negative effect. And so I'm only taking 6 damage. I'm hoping that block will carry over. But right now, I'll just go ahead and do a little bit more damage here. And then end my turn. And you'll notice this has all the same mechanics. You're playing all the cards you can, and then the rest go to your discard if you don't get to play them. Just like a deck builder. So it looks like my block does not stay to the next round, which is okay, because I still have plenty of defensive blocks, and I think I'm going to have enough to kill this enemy intends to use a buff on itself, so next round it's going to try to buff itself up. I did get my negative effect, which is that I'm now weakened. Attacks are going to deal 25% less damage to me for 2 turns. So that means that I'm not going to attack as strongly. So if I do 10 points of damage, I'm only going to do 7. No. Yeah, something like that. 75% of the damage. So a little more than 7. So, and this cool thing is anytime you have a negative effect on you, it is automatically reflected in your card. So this is the benefit of playing a digital card game, is that it automatically tells you, hey, this is how much damage you're actually going to deal because of this debuff that's on you. So my strikes now deal 4 damage instead of a full 6. This game is just so cool in everything it has as far as setting this up. And of course, any key terms like block or anything that affects the game, you can always hover over and it explains what it is. So this game is very clear, very simple to pick up. But of course, you'll see it's going to get nice and complicated. So I just put 5 damage on myself. I'm going to take 5, and this guy's going to buff himself. So I think I might not defend, because then that would be a waste of an energy. Because I don't think I'm taking more than 5. This guy's going to buff himself. I'm going to go ahead and finish him. So he won't get to buff himself. This guy's only going to do 5. I'm going to block 5. And then that way I can go ahead and deal my strike damage, even though I'm debuffed for 2 turns. It's still better than nothing. But now he's rolled up. I wonder if he attacks when he's rolled up. Let's see. Yes, he does still attack. But I did block it. I've only lost 1 hit point so far. Now I can do... The bash is kind of degraded a little bit because of my weakness for 1 more round. But I would be able to apply vulnerability to him. And he's about to put another negative effect on me, so it might be... I'm guessing if it's another weakened state, my damage isn't going to get any better. So I wonder if I should just not worry about defending. So I made him vulnerable now. And then I'm going to go ahead and play a strike, which should do extra damage to him. So he's down to 1 now. So he spit web on me. Okay, so that's what weakened me. And the nice thing is now at this point I can just... it weakened me even more? Maybe? No. Now you'll notice that I only am doing 4 damage, but the minute that I apply it to this creature who has been weakened, it changes the damage back to 6. So basically my weakened state is negated by my vulnerability that I inflicted on him, which is pretty cool. And the card will change to show you that effect, which is really awesome. All the debuffs and buffs are figured out by the engine and told to you before you make any decisions. So, as spoils for this combat, I can either take 10 gold or add a new card to my deck. And this is what's tough, because gold can help you buy things you need to help you. But adding cards obviously helps you too. I'm going to go ahead and add a card. So I get to choose one of these cards. I can either get some Anger, which is a card that will go permanently into my deck, deal 6 damage, and add a copy of this card into your discard pile. So basically, Anger builds up. And pretty soon, I'll have so much Anger in my deck, because every time I use it, it's going to make a copy of itself. I'll just keep continually getting enraged. The only downside of that is if I get too many Anger, it's going to destroy the balance of my deck, and it will keep me from getting any blocks. This Rage is pretty cool. Whenever you play an attack, you get 3 block automatically, so that could negate some of the blocks that I have to play. And then War Cry, draw 1 card, put a card from your hand onto the top of your draw pile. And then Exhaust. Okay, so this is removed until the end of combat. So if I play this, I get to put a card from my hand onto the top of my draw pile. So I get to basically replace a card in my hand with whatever's on the top of my draw pile. I don't really like that as much. I like this. I like this rage. Oh, and I guess I also get the gold. Okay, so I guess I get both of those things. All right, so I'm moving on to the next step. Now the legend tells me what I'll be facing in the next step. I'll have another enemy. Regular enemy, just like I did, and then the step after that's a question mark, which is unknown. It may be an encounter with monsters, treasure shops, or something entirely different. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. Alright, so remember, the whole idea is that I'm building up my deck to get better and better. The enemies are going to get harder, so I want to become more effective. Looks like this enemy is going to inflict a negative effect on me, the acid slime. And the spike slime is going to inflict a negative effect and attack for 8 damage. This guy's bad news. And he's got a lot of hit points. So the nice thing about Rage is it will give me 3 block, and it doesn't even cost me anything. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. Oh, and that's each of my attacks. So if I only attack each of my attacks, so if I played 3 strikes, that would give me 9 block. If I'm understanding this correctly, I'm gonna play 2 strikes. And then probably a defend. Although I could play a bash and a defend to make him vulnerable. That would give me 4 block. Maybe I'll want to do more block than that. Okay. So I'm going to try 1 more strike. Finish this guy off. That just gave me another 3 block. And then I'll play this last card, which will give me 5 block. So that gives me a block of 11, which will completely block him, but I will take 1 negative effect. Okay, so he exhausted me. I think what that did was it had some kind of effect on my cards going to my discard, maybe. Or maybe I lost cards, I'm not sure. Okay, so he is intending a negative effect, so I could just do all strikes on him because he's probably not going to do damage. He's just going to give me negative effect. And I can't block that, unfortunately. He just licked me and made me frail. Gain 25% less block from cards for 1 turn. So, instead of getting a full amount of block from my blocks, I get less block, and it'll reflect that. See, now I get 3. Oh, okay. Huh. So basically what the slime was is it added a card into my deck that's cluttering up my hand because I drew it. But the nice thing is that it's removed at the end of the combat, so I have to deal with this card coming up in my hand. So I only get 4 cards, but it will thankfully go away at the end of combat. So he's going to do 8 damage to me and another negative effect. So I got to try to figure out, I can get 6 from the defend. And then do a strike, I guess. So I'm going to take some damage, but at least I won't... At least I'll do some damage on him. So now you'll notice I've got 7 cards in my draw pile, 1 in my discard, and I think I just got another slime in my discard pile. Yep, I got a second slime, which means I'm going to start getting cluttered up with slimes if I don't kill this guy. But this should be easy. I basically just have to deal 1 strike damage to him. So I got 12 gold. I got a steroid potion, which gives me 5 strength, and then at the end of my turn I get I lose 5 strength. And potions go up here. Strength adds additional damage to attacks. Okay, that's cool. So it basically boosts my card strengths, card attacks. And potions at the top can be drank at any time. Money, this is how much money I have. And I get to add a card to my deck. Oh, wow. So this is a good one. Seeing red, I can add energy to my pool. And that lets me play more cards, but it's removed at the end of combat. So I'm guessing what that means is I only get to use it for the next... Like, I get to use it once and then it's removed from my deck. So do I want to use a card gain that's only temporary? Perfected Strike deals 6 damage, deals 2 additional damage for all of your cards containing strike. I can't remember what my basic cards are called if they're called strikes. So this is where you can start building up deck types, right? If you get a bunch of strike cards, this card would be really powerful. Sever Soul, exhaust all non-attack cards in your hand, in other words, discard them, and deal 16 damage. Wow. So I believe if it's... Oh, and removed until the end of combat. That just means... Sorry, exhaust just means it's only a once per combat card. So it wouldn't leave my deck permanently. It would just leave my deck until the combat was over. But I can deal 16 damage just by removing my cards in my hand. So I can get rid of, like, block cards, things like that, and then I can do 16 damage. I think I like the idea of getting more energy, building up my energy. Alright, so now I'm going to the unknown. You'll notice I'm still a ways from the old Spire here. You fall into a puddle. It's made of slime goop. Frantically, you claw yourself out over several minutes as you feel the goop starting to burn. You can feel goop in your eyes, goop in your nose, goop everywhere. Climbing out, you notice that some of your gold is missing. Looking back into the puddle, you see missing coins combined with gold from unfortunate adventures mixed together in the puddle. So I can try to gather it. I lose 11 HP permanently. I think you gain a little bit of HP every time you complete a mission or a step. But 11 might be more than I can lose. Then again, if I leave it, I lose 34 gold. But if I gather it, I get 75 gold. This is a tough one. What the heck? I'm gonna gather it. Feeling the sting of the goop as the prolonged exposure starts to melt away at your skin, you manage to fish out the gold. Alright, so now I've got a choice. I can either have another question mark, or I can face an enemy. It looks like there's some kind of merchant coming up if I go toward the enemy. Some kind of rest spot. But then there's a boss right after, unfortunately. This is all tough. Doesn't look like there's a merchant on any other route anytime soon. So I might need to go toward the merchant just to see what that is. So I've got another combat. Jawworm. He's intending to do 11 damage to me. Let's see if I can block as much as I can. You notice I've started with less hit points because of that event. So I'll just deal some damage to him. Kuro, I'm probably going to stream for about another 12 minutes or so. Maybe a little bit longer. Since I got started a little bit later, I might stream a little bit longer to like 9:15 or something. So maybe more like 20 minutes or so. Alright, we got a new round. I could give myself extra energy, but I would lose it for the round, but... 1, 2, 3. The only thing that sucks is I really wouldn't need my energy to play everything. So maybe I should save this until I have some more until I have some higher cards. This enemy intends to block and attack for 7 damage, so I should probably try to block as much as I can. I've got 10 block, so that should block all of his damage, but then he's going to block. So I should try to do what I can. A little bit of damage there. Okay, so now, whenever I play an attack this turn, it's going to give me block, so I should go ahead and do that, because all I have are attacks. And seeing red isn't going to really do much for me. So I'm just going to do 3 attacks, which should each one give me altogether 9 blocks. I didn't even see what he's doing. He's going to block and use a buff. So he's given himself strength, which increases his damage. So now he's going to be doing 10 damage. So maybe I should just go for... Well, I got to pay attention to this because I really only needed to block twice. I wonder if that includes his strength or not. Well, we'll see. Oh, I guess I did block some. So he does have 5 block. So I feel like I should try to... He's going to block and use a buff. But I've increased his damage for 2 turns, so I should probably do damage as much as I can. Down to 5 hit points. Increase his strength to 6. He intends to attack for 17 damage because that's boosted with his strength, so I gotta finish this guy off. Yeah, let's go ahead and play this. So now I can play all 4 of my cards. Not that I needed it. So I got 18 gold, Essence of Steel, which gives me plated armor. Oh, okay, gain 4 plated armor. I'm assuming that's a potion I can drink temporarily. And add a card to my deck. I can do a Pommel Strike, deal 9 damage, and draw a card. That's pretty cool. Twin Strike, deal 5 damage twice. That's kind of interesting. So I wonder if that can be divided up. Clothesline, deal 12 damage and apply Weak, which gives creatures 25% less damage. So do I want to be a debuffer? Card drawer. I don't feel like I feel like the problem is I need to build up my energy because I'm playing all the cards I can, so I don't really need... I'm not running out of cards. Maybe I'll try this Twin Strike, seems kind of cool. Okay, so I definitely want to try the Merchant. Welcome. Okay, so I can buy potions. At the start of each combat, I heal 2 hit points. Chemical X. The effects of your cost X cards are increased by 2. That's kind of cool. You can have cards removed from your deck. This is a great feature on deck building games because eventually your weaker cards you want to get rid of and only have powerful cards, you'll draw them faster. Orichalcum, or Chalcum, however you want to say it. If you end your turn without block, you gain 6 block. That's cool. So automatically you always gain block. I wonder if that's a permanent or if it's just like a potion type thing. Skill potion, choose one of 3 random skill cards, add to your hand. Gain 2 dexterity, 3 vulnerable. Okay, so those are all potions. I have a feeling they're not really expensive. So I'm wondering, I mean, they are a little more expensive, but I'm not sure if those are permanent. Thinking ahead, this is looks like a special type card. Draw 2 cards, put a card from your hand on top of your draw pile. Okay. So you get to kind of tactically decide what you want to have in your hand. Enlightenment, reduce the cost of all the cards in your hand to 1 this turn. That's kind of cool. I don't really have a lot of expensive cards yet. That might be better. Pummel, deal 2 damage 4 times. Okay, that's cool. Deal 6 damage, add a copy of this card into your discard pile. Draw 1 card, put a card from your hand onto the top of your discard pile. We've seen that before. Warcry, True Grit, Sale. This is on sale, so some cards are even cheaper than they normally would be. Gain 7 block, exhaust a random card in your hand. So remove it until the end of combat. And then gain 2 strength. That is interesting. This is always tough. And these cards are 0 cost cards too, which is pretty cool. I think I'm going to try the gains 2 strength. And then I don't really want anything else. Maybe this deal 4 damage 2 damage 4 times. Just to see how I can make it work. Okay. So I'll go ahead and proceed. Alright, now I have a camp, and I'm assuming what the camp does is I can either rest, heal 30% of my max HP. Okay. So I could heal up to 26 hit points, which I'm not really missing that many. So this is one of the few times you can actually get your health back. Or I can upgrade a card in my deck, and this is really cool. So basically, one of the cards that I have, I can make it better than what it is right now. I'm not really missing that many hit points, so I think I'm going to have to smith a card. I feel like increasing my basic attacks seems like the best. So I can go from 6 damage to Strike Plus, which is 9 damage. And these cards are strike cards, so I should have bought that ability card because I have a bunch of strikes in my deck. So I will go ahead and increase this from 6 to 9, which is pretty awesome. So it's so awesome you can upgrade your cards and actually have better cards. But of course you're going to be limited in doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and go for a question mark, unknown. Among the stones and boulders, you notice an intricate large blue statue resembling a wing. You find gold spilling from its cracks. Maybe there is more inside. I can remove a card from my deck and lose 7 HP. So obviously this is like what I was saying earlier. Removing cards from your deck is good. Once you have a lot of cards, you can get rid of the weaker ones and get the better cards more often. But I haven't really got to that point yet. And I have to have a card with 10 or more damage, unfortunately, to do the better thing. It's locked. Maybe I'll go ahead and remove a card. Someone once told you of a cult that worshipped a giant bird. As you kneel in prayer, you begin to feel lightheaded. You wake up sometime later feeling strangely fleet of foot. So I'm going to remove a card. I'm going to go ahead and remove one of these strikes. Okay. Alright. Now hopefully that will be beneficial. So I can either fight a monster or have another random encounter and get some treasure right after. kind of see the... I'm going to go ahead and go for another random encounter. You enter a corridor full of hypnotizing colored mushrooms. Due to your lack of specialization in mycology, you are unable to identify the specimens. You want to escape but feel oddly compelled to eat the mushroom. I can stomp and anger the mushrooms or eat and heal 22 HP, become cursed, and get a parasite. That doesn't look good. And wow, I'm down to 75 out of 88? I thought I didn't realize I was down that much. I have a feeling if I stomp and anger them, I'm going to have to fight them. I can't see if... Okay, so I have to lose 3. If transformed or removed from my deck, I lose 3 max HP. It's a curse, and so it's going to come up in my hand a lot. I think I'm going to go ahead and fight him. Rodents infested by the mushrooms appear out of nowhere. Ew. So I have to fight these guys. Man, they have a lot of hit points, and they do... One's going to use a buff, 2 are using a buff, 1's attacking. So I just need to block... I need to block 6 damage, unfortunately. And then I can't inflame because... Unfortunately, I can't inflame because it'd be useless, because I can't play anything else. So I gave himself strength, so he'll be doing extra damage. He's going to attack me for 9. So now at this point I'm taking 25 points of damage. So I definitely want to play Rage. Seeing red is going to be pointless because I can only play 3 cards anyway. I'm going to deal 6 damage. I'm going to try to finish off one of these guys anyway. I can defend, which takes me up to 8. I'm trying to decide, whenever you play an attack this turn, you gain 3 block. I wonder... I guess it's just 1 attack card. So I deal 5 damage twice. I'm not really sure. Maybe there's a certain kind of buff or debuff that will make that card more useful. For right now I'm blocking 11, but that's going to be a lot of damage. That's not good. So I'm down to 62 out of 88. Looks like only one of them is attacking, but unfortunately it's not the one I've been hammering on. Deal 2 damage 4 times and then exhaust. Ooh, and I got my strike plus here. 9 damage. So I definitely need to block. But I'm still going to be taking 4 damage. So I should go ahead and finish this guy off. And then this is, well, this is 9 damage. I should have played this other card. Oh well. Okay. So I'm taking damage. I'm not blocking very much now. So hopefully this round I will, because I'm going to play Rage. I'm going to defend 1. This guy has beefed himself up so much, he's going to be doing 18 damage. I can only block 5 right now, but I'll be able to block more when I play this strike. But... Heesh. I should have eaten the mushrooms. I'm still taking 5 damage. And now this other guy's beefed himself up. So I gotta play block. I'm gonna go ahead and give myself energy. So I can deal 8 damage and apply 2 vulnerable. Even though it's on the... It doesn't have very many hit points left. Well, I finished off 2 of the enemies, and I'll be taking some damage, down to 38. Pummel. Deal 2 damage 4 times, so that's 8 damage. 5 damage twice is 10 damage. So I got a lot of good damage here. So I think I'll do 13, and then 9, and then 6. Whew. Okay, so I got a little bit of hit points back. Oh, remember, my ability of my hero is that at the end of every combat, I get to heal 6 hit points. So at least I get a little bit back. I gotta try to have some combat rounds where I don't lose as much as I did. I did get an odd mushroom. When vulnerable, take 25% more attack damage rather than 50. Okay, so that will help me when I'm vulnerable. And then add a card to my deck. Draw 3 cards. You cannot draw additional cards this turn. Gain 8 block and draw a card. That's pretty good. Okay. So you notice I'm a little more than halfway. I'm about to get a treasure. I don't think I've gotten this before. Hopefully it's an awesome healing. 77 gold and a pair. Upon picking up, raise your max HP by 10. That's cool. So I think I did go up by 10, and then my max is at 10, so I can actually heal more if I wanted to. If I could ever get to a camp. So where's the next camp? I've got to get through an enemy. If I go this way, it's a long way. So I think I'll go through an enemy. I gotta make it, man. Let's do it. Okay, so they're going to be doing 18 damage. I can block 10, unfortunately. So the most damage I can do is 8 and 2 vulnerable. Might be worth it for this guy. He does... Oh, I don't have enough energy. So I'll just do 2 damage twice. 5 damage twice. That actually would finish this guy. So I would only take 11, which means I'm only taking 1. Tactics, man. Okay. So he's going to be buffing, blocking and buffing. So I'm going to do some damage here. And then I'm going to shrug it off, which will give me 8 block, but then I also draw a card. I'm going to go ahead and play... Oh, I don't have enough energy to play. So, dang it. Okay. Well, I shouldn't have drawn that card unless I had 1 energy left, but oh well. Okay. So every card I play now is going to give me rage, which is good because he's going to be doing 10 damage and I can only block 5 right now. Okay, this is pretty good. I can deal 2 damage 4 times. So that's 8. So I should use that for 1 of my damage. And that also gives me 3 block. And then... 8. Yeah, I should do this. So I played another 5 block, and then my last attack will give me enough block to block his attack. And he's down to 20. Alright. So he's going to be blocking and buffing. He's got 5 block right now. I'm going to go ahead and flame, which increases my damage. So I'll do 10 damage and give him vulnerable. So he's increased his strength a lot. He's going to be doing 13 damage. I've got him down to 15. So he's going to be taking extra damage from my strikes. So this does 14, this does 11. I should definitely give myself extra energy this round. Shrug it off and draw a card. And now I've got 3 energy to play a lot of damage, basically. Should be enough to kill him, I'm hoping. Although I have to get 21 damage. Oh, that was a lot. I forgot that it doesn't show the buff for the vulnerable until I draw the arrow. At the end of your turn, gain 3 block. Okay. Deal 7 damage, shuffle a dazed into your discard pile, reckless charge, okay. Exhaust all, second wind, exhaust all non-attack cards in your hand, gain 5 block for each card. Exhausted. I'm not sure I like any of these. Although this is a 0. I could use this as kind of like a final resort, but I'm not exactly sure why this card would be good. At the end of your turn, gain 3 block. Is that so? A power? Not sure. Is that if that's like a permanent? Okay, so I got a campfire. I'm gonna be able to heal a little bit, so I can rest and get 29 hit points back, or upgrade another card on my deck. I should probably rest this time. I'm almost halfway. Okay, so I'm back up. I'm only missing 10 hit points now. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take this monster. 70 hit points. So you'll see the enemies did get harder. It's going to inflict a negative effect on me, and it's going to split. So if it gets to hit points down to 50% or more, it'll split into 2 smaller slimes. With the current HP. So the sucky thing is I definitely don't have any block. I need to do a lot of damage here. I'm gonna go ahead and flame. So now I'm doing a lot of extra damage. Unfortunately, I've only got 6 block, but he is just debuffing me. He's not attacking. And my strength is increased. Wow, is that permanent? Wow, I'm only doing... That's crazy. Okay, so my block is decreased. I'm gonna try to... Huh, that's interesting. So I think my strength is increased, so I should be playing that card all the time. Increase my attack all the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do... He's gonna be doing 16 damage. That's a lot of damage. So I suppose I should just be blocking as much as I can. Oh, and he gives me slime. Deal 4 damage 4 times. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that strength card is awesome. So at the end of my turn, gain 3 block. I wonder if this is every single time. Well, let's go ahead and give myself energy, then I can play this card, we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I think at the end of all of my turns I get 3 block, which is pretty awesome. If I get that early, especially. So this seems like the best. I get to play all 3 cards. It does a huge amount of damage. This does 8, and then another 8. So he's down a pretty good amount. This enemy's intentions are unknown, but it's not attacking. So I don't know what he's going to do, but he's not attacking. Okay, he's splitting. So each of them has... So they're going to do 8 damage each, and they each have 13 hit points. So the question is now, do I want to... I'm going to get 3 block. Man, if I had 2 of those cards on my deck, whew. So I can't do enough... Well, I could do enough damage to kill one of them. So that would decrease it down to... Well, let's see what I draw. So I've got 8 block now. So I'll be blocking one of them if I can kill the other one. Which I can do, I think. So I'll kill one. I'm only going to take 8 damage. And it looks like a negative effect also. Put more slime in me. Oh, and I got a slime card. I didn't know if it automatically got rid of those before, but... Alright. 18 gold, add a card to my deck. Oh, I can skip at any time. Add 2 wounds into your hand. They're unplayable status cards, but I gain 15 block. Wow. Not a big fan of any of these cards, although I don't necessarily have enough block cards. At least I haven't been seeing them. I'm going to skip it. Alright. So I can either go for a treasure... Or no, a merchant. Or a monster. This is my last chance to go for a merchant, so I think I'm going to do that. Thunderclap. Deal 4 damage and apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. That's kind of cool. Sever Soul, same as the one we saw. Power through, add 2 wounds to your hand, gain block. Oh, here's this metallicized card. I gotta get that. If I get 2 of those, that's gonna be amazing. If you have no attacks in your hand, draw 2 cards. Patience. Violence. Put 3 random attacks from the draw pile into your hand. Exhaust. 4 damage and apply... I think that's a great card. Seems great. I am going to remove a card from my hand so I can get rid of... Okay, so I can only remove 1 card, it looks like, every time I'm at the merchant. Or maybe it's because I don't have enough money. Okay, so now I've got an enemy, and then a rest, and then the boss, the heart. So this is a slaver. He intends to inflict a negative effect and cause 7 damage, so all... I'll shrug off his damage, give myself a block, and then do 10 damage to him. I should have given him invulnerability, but... Okay. So he's doing 12 now. So, yeah, I really should be playing this card all the time because it negates his weaknesses that he plays on me. He is doing 12 damage, so I need to block some of it. And then I just have my strike plus, unfortunately. Pummel. So I could do 12 damage, that's actually more. But then I'd have to exhaust it, but I think that's okay in this case. Because it's more damage than the strike plus. Deal 8 damage, block, 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 block. If I play this again, okay, yeah, I do. So now I get 6 block at the end of every round. He's only doing 1 damage. I'll go ahead and... I really only need to play 2 more cards. So I should get, yeah, 11, then he'll do 7. And he weakens me again. So when I play attacks, everything... Alright. So I weakened him. Let's see. Flex. I gain 2 strength at the end of the turn, lose 2 strength, deal 5... I really like this, those twin strikes. Armaments. Gain 5 block, upgrade a card in your hand for the rest of combat. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna take the twin strike. So I get 1 more rest, which is nice because I'm almost full. So I think I'm going to go ahead and smith another card. Oh man. What do I smith? This is so hard. I think I'm going to smith 7 damage twice, yeah. Okay. I'm ready for the heart of the Spire. I have never fought this before. 240 hit points. The Guardian. He's defensive. He intends to block on his turn. After receiving 30 damage, he changes into a defensive mode. So he'll shift his mode. He gets 30 damage. So I definitely need to metallicize, even though he's not attacking. Make him vulnerable. Give him a good old strike. Oh, but I'm out. Oh, 32 damage he's going to deal to me. Okay, definitely need to go into defensive mode. So now I'm going to be getting 6 blocks every round. Another 8. So that's 14. That's not a lot. And there's no way I can survive if I with that many hit. He has so many hit points. There's no way I can survive unless I can get my blocks built up. Right now I'm only taking off about half the damage. Oof, I didn't get any blocks that time. But this time he's going to inflict a negative effect on me. So I probably need to try to do some... So I built up my strength. I'm going to try to thunderclap him. He's vulnerable. And then pummel him. Okay, so he switches to Guardian mode, thankfully. He intends to use a buff. He receives 50% more damage, but I have a feeling... Whenever you attack, I take 3 damage. Okay, so if I attack him, I'm going to take damage. So I wonder if block blocks that. This might be worth playing my Seeing Red for once. I'll do a bash on him. Yeah, it does look like it goes on my block. He's going to be doing 9 damage to me, but it might be worth it to... Oh no! I did the wrong card. I should have done... Oh well. So I'm down to 79. I need to be careful. I'm going to do some blocking. He's doing 16 points of damage to me. Ah. Okay, so he's gonna, if he receives 40 damage, he'll shift back into Guardian mode, which I kind of like him in that mode a little bit more. Because he's doing 20 damage to me. Ugh. 8 damage or... So there's definitely tactics involved in fighting this guy. But I don't have those. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a card and block. So I have 14 block coming to me. Oh, I should have looked at his... He's going to block on his turn, so I didn't need to worry about... Okay, so he's back in Guardian mode. We'll go ahead and end the turn. I do have him down to 123, which is way better than I thought I would. So he's going to attack me for 9. I get 6. If I do 8... and draw a card, might be worth it. Yep, I think that's worth it. 18 damage, and then 14 damage. And I still am only going to take 1 on my turn. Can he do it? I'm almost even with him, which is pretty cool. But he does way more damage than me normally. Okay, so when I attack, I'll block. He's going to do 16 damage to me. I have 6 block coming. I can play another 10, but that's going to take 2 of my energy. Whereas if I play 2 of these strikes, I deal 19 damage, but I gain 12. Yeah, I think it's probably going to be worth it just to try to hold the damage off as much as I can, and then just do a little bit of positive damage. Try to catch up to him. Oh, I should have... Oh, I was stupid. I could have played my rage and gotten a little bit extra block, but didn't really need it. Okay. So he's going to be doing 20 damage to me. I don't have anything to block it. So I might as well try to do as much damage as I can. 10 damage and 2 vulnerable. It seems like these are the most powerful cards. So he's definitely down below me at this point. And he does... Okay, so I took a lot of damage that round. Okay, so I'm gonna give myself... Okay. And now's the time when I wish I had more strikes, because he's just buffing, but... But so am I. So he's got a... He's gonna do 32 damage to me. Let's see, this is 18. I don't quite have enough to destroy him. Ooh, good. I knocked him out of attack mode. Whew. So now he's just going to buff himself. So I can definitely attack him. Just took down a little bit of his block, but... Okay. So at this point... I did it! Gain 30 block and exhaust, wow. Deal 32 damage with bludgeon. These all cost 3, so it'd be my whole turn. Block is not removed at the start of your turn. Wow. I wonder if that's permanent. I mean, we gotta see that. Okay, so I get 1 treasure. Choose a relic. Lizard Tail. When you would die, heal to 50% of your max HP. Works once. Gain energy at the start of your turn. You can no longer rest at rest sites. Oh, that's cool. Coffee Dripper. I can't rest, but I can gain energy at the start of my turn. Gain energy at the start of your turn. You can no longer smith at rest sites. That's really interesting. Well, I should probably not smith. Ooh, so I made it to Act 2, the city. So I select starting room and keep going. So I didn't make it to the actual heart. I'm still going. So I made it to the 17th floor. Alright, well, that is kind of a good place to stop here for tonight. And of course you can always save your game and quit. I think you can do that at any point in the game. But that's a good kind of glimpse at Slay the Spire. It's a really cool game, and definitely if you are a physical card gamer, if you played deck building games before, like anything from Dominion, the classic, to Thunderstone, to any of the legendary games, you definitely can see how that builds on that mechanic. It has some really cool innovations like being able to craft and rest, and then of course it's all procedurally generated and you're trying to survive as long as you can, and then of course you make it to the next level and you just try to keep going as long as you can. But it's a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed kind of seeing a glimpse into that tonight, and I will be back next week. The plan is that I should be able to stream next week. I'm not exactly sure. It will be Christmas Eve next week, so, or Christmas Day, one of the two. So I don't think I'll be streaming next week, now that I think about it. But I will be back streaming the week after that. I'll be back and hopefully got all of my normal setup, so I won't have any of the normal problems. But we'll see you all back then. If there's any new developments in the Lord of the Rings game, or if I can get some cool new decks built up, I might try to go back in and look at some of that. Or if the co-op is available, that's what I'm really hoping for. We'll definitely be going back and checking that. In the meantime, we'll be taking a look maybe at another playthrough of Slay the Spire, or if I kind of look through some of my other games, that are good adaptations. I have a couple other ideas too. So I'll let you know. But otherwise, please tune in whenever you get a chance. And I'll be back here next week. See you guys later.